All right, guys, some Knicks news. We now know what the issue was for Reggie Bullock and why his contract terms were changed. It turns out he needed surgery for a cervical disc herniation, and he is going to be out at least the early part of the season. So Bullock's got the deal with the Knicks. It wasn't what it was initially going to be because of the injury, and that's an interesting turn of events in terms of now we know at least what the injury is.
Yeah, and this whole thing, by the way, from the beginning is an interesting relationship now between Bullock and the Knicks because, as I understand it, Bullock had the agreement in principle with the Knicks, but he was having some issue that he wanted to get checked out. He was having some discomfort, so he went to his doctor, had it checked out. Turned out to be, what was reported, and he had full disclosure to the Knicks. He could have easily just taken the contract they were offering him and not said anything, show up at camp, and then say, "Oh, what do I know?
He's a man's
I got this
man."
injury."
Yeah,
Instead, he was upfront about it.
Give him a lot of credit because it cost him a lot of money.
It cost him a lot of money, but the Knicks then said, "We're not walking away from you because you did this." We're not walking away. So they do have the out. The second year isn't guaranteed. It's certainly not near what he was going to get, but it's better than him not having a contract at all. He'll miss about the first month of the season, they're thinking, but he should be available for them for the second half, at least at full strength. So you're still getting a very good player who can shoot 40% from three and can be a guy that can play starters minutes. But on top of it, I do think it's interesting, the relationship. And, of course, reworking that deal, what did it lead to? Them being able to get another player in Marcus Morris.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you remember those sit-downs that you had with Steve Mills and Scott Perry, Alan. What did they say? What were they trying to do with the foundation of this franchise? They wanted good guys with great character.
Yeah.
That's a great character sign from Reggie Bullock, to be able to be up front and say, hey, I'm having an issue. I'm letting you guys know up front, instead of me walking into training camp, like you said, like, something doesn't feel right.
Hey, John, how many players would have done that?
And pocket the money. And pocket that money.
Have the team pay for the surgery.
Yeah. Because you would have signed and then told them. That's just the way I think everyone would have done it. Even myself. I would have signed my contract and then told them what was going on. So it's a stand-up thing for him to do.
It actually helped the Knicks because it added another free agent. That's a big deal. And that's why, again, the Knicks didn't walk away from him.
All right, Knicks preseason schedule is out as well. There's going to be 4 preseason games this year.
The Pelicans.
At Washington on the 7th, and then home games against the Wizards, Hawks, and the Pelicans on October the 18th.
Zion at the Garden already, October 18th.
Just in a different jersey.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Jersey, unfortunately.
Not the jersey Knicks fans are hoping for, yeah.
First game's at 7, all the rest at 7:30, and all we broadcast right here on MSG. So interesting. Last year, Alan, the regular season started October 17th. This year, the last preseason game's October 18th. So you figure the season's going to probably start maybe a week later this year. Not sure why.
That is interesting. And I haven't seen or heard anything about that. I don't know if you guys have.
No, I haven't.
But that is interesting because you're right. The idea was to start the season earlier so it would stretch out, less back-to-backs. The schedule should be coming out, next week or at some point. So we'll see what the schedule looks like. But are they starting the playoffs later? Did they feel like there was too much of a gap? I don't know. That's interesting, though. You're right. That the preseason ends when the regular season last year began.
Yeah.
So it's going to be real interesting to see. Zion Williamson coming to the Garden. It'll be the regular season.
RJ versus Zion again.
Preview.
Hopefully no earthquakes.
Get some get back, Kevin Knox.
I was going to say, I'm praying for Kevin there. Yeah,
The last game before the regular season. All right, meantime, Chris Paul is stuck. He's in neutral. Or Park, I would.
Stuck? He's got $40 million this year.
I know, but
I'd like to be stuck like
look,
that.
if you're Chris Paul, are you going to be able to just hang in there, even though you probably don't want to be there in OKC?
Like I always talk about, right, Alan? We talk about this. You have to be a pro at all times, because it's not.
But he hasn't always gotten along, right?
But that's him. But this might not be his last stop. So he's got. What if they're trying to move him somewhere? He can't be this discontent in the locker room and create all this dissension in the locker room. He's got to be a good guy, a stand-up guy, a pro like he is, be a leader, so that when they go to move him, it'll be easy for him to be moved.
That's a great point, John. Really great point. I mean, they still have some talent down in OKC, even though the Sam Presti hit the reset button. You look at guys like Steven Adams, all right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had a phenomenal rookie season with his last year, right? That would be nice. And then also Danilo Gallinari had another great season with the Clippers. So they still have some talent there. So he's not – I don't think Chris Paul is the guy that's just going to mail in a season or just say, okay, well, I'm not happy, I'm not getting my way, let me just not play. No, he's going to take advantage of this opportunity because, to your point, John, he wants to be able to, let teams know that, hey, I still can play, I still can run a team, I still can be a leader.
To that point, though, I wonder if maybe he wants to stay in OKC. They have 8 future first-round picks. I mean, if you can sit it out and maybe make this team competitive for the next couple of years, you could build. No, you're shaking your head. You don't agree with me.
Because he's 34, not 24.
I know. He does have the age isn't on his side. But even if you had, maybe 2 or 3 more years, you gather a couple first-round picks.
He has history of playing in Oklahoma City.
When the Hurricane, the Hornets, I was going to call them the Pelicans, but when the Hornets, they went to OKC for 2 seasons, I think, right?
Yeah, Chris Paul was there.
Does his trade value go up as time goes on here?
No. Here's the thing. First of all, there's going to be a market for him. And actually, this works out better for both sides. This is almost like a help me, help you thing. Because for Chris Paul, if he does the right thing, plays through this, the Thunder don't want to keep him. They're going to tell you they do. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't because of the luxury tax. They don't want to pay that contract for a player that age when they're trying to reset. They don't want to pay the luxury tax. They don't want to pay the repeater tax. They want out of this contract, but they can't tell everybody that.
No.
They were thinking of trading him and getting first rounds. I'm saying tack one of those first rounds, and I'll help you by taking that contract.
That's right.
If Chris Paul shows you early in the season I'm in good shape, my head's right, there are teams out there that have assets. Everybody's been doing the asset allocation. Everybody's been trying to collect and be ready to make moves. There will be a team at some point after December, with trade season opens between December and obviously up to February when it's over. You'll see a team that's ready to make a move that thinks we're about to jump and we could use a guard or some more depth, and then you make that move because there's only then 2 years after this season on that contract. Yes, it's a big number, but that's a guy, if he can put you over the top, you make the move.
And OKC has a ton of assets. If they have to move a first-round pick to get someone to take the Chris Paul contract,
might have to go that way.
Yeah.
They already have a talented point guard again in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So if they lose Chris Paul, it's not a big loss for them. They still have young talent on the roster.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.